Welcome to the great sacking of 2026. Welcome again to PSR Football Podcast. I'm your host Varun Malik. I'm joined by Piyush and Zameen to make sense of things this week. Sacking owes its origins to Latin, being given the sack, and often also referred to a great looting of a city. Now, you might be confused as to why I'm talking about the etymology of a very ancient slang. But at the starting of this week, Ruben Amorim was dismissed as the Manchester United manager following a heated presser after the draw at Ellen Road. I think in doing so, he pulled off a miracle. He managed to get the sack and sack the city of Manchester in the process. I have with me Samin, who's very glad to be here, as Piyush was glad to be, will be glad to be here when Frank goes out of the window. How are you feeling, Samin?
Uh, Ecstatic, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't I haven't
Yes.
hated a manager with such vigor like I hated Amorim. So yeah, I'm glad this happened. It's a good day.
Well, I hope all the both of you saw the presser after the game at Ellen Road. What ticked him off is what I'm not able to understand. The question was just about his relationship with the board. And out of nowhere, he just started saying, I'm the manager, I'm not the coach. I don't even think like the question was where he was getting the answer from.
I do have a bit thoda sa background on it. So the summer signings that we got in Sesko and Lamens, right? He wanted neither of them. He wanted an experienced goalkeeper. He was looking at Emi Martinez, and he wanted a midfielder who could play, who would slot into the starting 11. He publicly said that he didn't want Sesko, and it was made clear with every passing day that the board was making decisions that he didn't agree with. Now, I can accept why the board came up with such a decision to not give the head coach any power, because after seeing what Ten Hag did with unlimited power and veto over their decisions, I can understand why they wouldn't want to give it to anyone else, especially someone who was pulling in a 31% win rate in the league. But yeah,
Yeah.
if he claimed that he wanted final say on the signings and the board wasn't willing to give him that, and then he thought, the best way for me to kind of make my point heard is by saying it after we drew against a team that probably has the longest standing rivalry with our club, a team that hasn't beaten us since
Yeah.
2002, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Leeds hasn't beaten United since 2002. So it's like using the biggest platform he can to get his point across. And unfortunately, it didn't land. And I'm so glad it didn't land because he's gone.
It was actually hilarious that the game was against Leeds. It was very poetic. And I think Leeds is like very happy with Daniel Farker. Lead literally got the manager of United sacked. It's oh, we have Akshat joining us finally.
I think this is
So
the fifth manager that has gotten sacked after a game against Leeds. It's an interesting stat for everyone.
fair enough.
Penitentiary is real.
It's but what do you guys think? Was it? I mean, is it just because it was the first, I guess, media outing where he went against the ownership? Because I mean, abhi tak he's went against the players, he's went against the fans. But this was the time, I guess, pehli baar he spoke out against the ownership. I mean, the ownership was speaking praises of him like 2 months ago, 1 month ago. They were saying we this guy is here for the future. I honestly think it was also the comment about him being there for 18 months that like they were like, dude, we got you here to be here for the future. तो क्या बोल रहा है Venture? I'll be here for 18 months and we'll see who replaces me. That was also a bit irritating to watch, honestly.
So the backroom spice is that there was a meeting with the sporting director, including some minority owners, obviously Ratcliffe, with who is it? I think Wilcox is the guy, sporting director,
Yeah.
and Ruben Amorim got into
Yeah.
a scuffle about signings, potential transfers. So I think started out there, and then Amorim has not always been one to control his emotions. So I think he sort of let it out and sort of accelerated his own sacking. I think it would have happened anyway a bit later down the road, but he accelerated it by going all out in the media.
To add on to that point, एक तो you guys remember when Dan Ashworth got fired from United in the summer? It's because he didn't
Yeah.
want Amarim. And Ineos
Yeah.
said, no, we want him, we trust him and everything. After that, when Wilcox was put in charge of like the footballing decisions, there was a game in August against Fulham, 1-1 draw. I think Bruno missed a pen that game, whatever. Main point is, Alex Iwobi said, we know how to play against them. Our manager told us to just overload the midfield and you'll get the ball there. And apparently, Wilcox was so pissed with what was said that he called for a meeting and he sort of asked Amarim, ki, how is it that every 19 other teams in the league know exactly how to beat your system, but you are not willing to change it? And so Wilcox and Amarim were kind of on the outs from then. And every passing decision, because I think Sesko was signed somewhere thereabouts, just before the Fulham game or something like that. So the Sesko signing, I know Lamens was signed after the Fulham game because he gave us our first clean sheet of the season against Sunderland. So like that whole thing, it just sort of, I think it snowballed into the fact that Amarim kept feeling he wasn't being respected by the hierarchy, which is a good thing. He should not be respected. Let me make this clear. He deserves all the disrespect he got, but I can see how he could feel hard done by, which is why he may have decided that, it's the new year, it's the first game of the season, they're not going to sack me, right? And then they sacked him. So, yeah, I think it worked out in the end the way I wanted it to, and like the way I want to say 80% of the fans wanted it to, because I know people who are kind of pissed that they fired him. But yeah, you can't be on the outs with the guys who give you money to spend and expect it to be like a successful relationship after that.
And I mean, right from the start, the whole inception of his system into the team, he wanted to play his style, but then he also knew the fact that if he doesn't get signings that he specifically wants, or like specific players for specific positions, it's not going to work. So when he knew that it's going to take a bit of time to get those transfers in, I feel like he should have adapted the four at the back pehle hi. But he had a very dogmatic approach to it. But ठीक है, he's gone now.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just him. Most people forget this because of how badly it ended. But the reason we won two trophies under Ten Hag was because he played 4-2-3-1, the same formation that United's been playing since Sir Alex left. And we won the Carabao Cup. He went to his some zero midfield, six defenders, three attackers formation. We held 7 goals to Liverpool, and he refused to go back to the formation that helped us become successful. And then, Beach me, he realized that things aren't working and he tweaked it again to the 4-2-3-1. We went on like a little run. We beat City in the FA Cup final, got a trophy. And then he went back to his old formation that he was using at Ajax and the one that he later used at Leverkusen as well. And it's just, I get that a manager wants to, like, I don't know, enforce his own thing. Just give me one second. Give me one second.
Even a hater has
Um,
responsibilities.
बैकरूम स्टाफ आ गया.
Samin has been abducted.
so yeah,
बट
do
पीयूष
you
यार
guys
तुम्हारा
think it's
बैकग्राउंड
just
क्या.
because of the way his team was playing? आ गया.
Apologies. Like I said, I am sharing a house
But
and
Samin,
I am
like
at Gaza place. So yeah,
this guy
while
Amorim they got from Portugal. Do you think there's a slight inability from United to now get the top managers? Because Before Amarim, they got Ten Hag, and Ten Hag was also from like not from the top six. So is it United's inability to get a top six manager? Is that's what preventing them from getting in the top six now?
I don't think it's. I mean, yes, it is United's inability because of what they are as an institution, but it's less to do with players and fans, and it's more to do with the ownership. Because before Ineos took over, everyone and their mothers knew that the Glazers were horrible. Like the only reason United looked semi-competent for like a decade after they took over was because Sir Alex was in charge for like 8 of those years. And after that, like remnants of his players and his system was still there, which is why players still wanted to come to United. Like they may have been old and washed up, but they were still big names. But like after that sort of died out, after the last of Sir Alex guys left, it sort of became more of a Glazer-led team. Like they were making decisions, they weren't investing into the team, and they just kind of ignored everything. They were there for like the big moments, photo ops and everything. But apart from that, they didn't do any investment into the team. They haven't really done anything like that. So, I mean, any manager or head coach, whatever designation the next guy comes in as, he's going to come in with sort of like a sort of reprehension that I may not be fully backed, and this could end up hurting my career in the long run because of an incompetent board. It could be made to look like I don't know what I'm doing, which is why the whole thing sort of needs a shake-up. But it's billions and billions of pounds, and nobody's really willing to spend that.
True that.
Just to look forward, there are four of us. How would each of us solve the menu situation? I don't want to, but just as a problem solving like all of us can brainstorm something. Let's discuss how individually we would solve this problem, given that we have all the decision making abilities and everybody is going to listen to us. We can start with Varun or Samin.
Let Varun go first.
Get relegated, man. Uh, get relegated, become a championship club. Let Coventry City, the second best team in Manchester, in Premier League. That would be great. I think,
Varun, I think
I
you
think
misunderstood the question. I said solve the Manchester problem. You
no,
kind of
solve
went
the
for
Manchester
City.
United problem for
City.
me.
Reset. Factory reset.
Oh God.
Wait,
Oh
is
my
this like
God.
a different photo? Because I remember I think FIFA 15 or something used to have Arteta's face as the
Arteta is
delete.
that forfeit season wala photo. Delete club is someone else. I don't know who is this. Nah, no clue.
Looks like Lorato
So apt
Martinez.
for Arteta to have the delete season wala thing, dude. He does that
This looks
every
like
time comes
this looks
February,
like one
March.
of those old RCB jerseys actually.
It does.
Yeah.
But while we're on the topic of solving United, what would you do, Samir? I think you were the.
Oil
Or
money.
wait, let the three of us have a go, then you give your definitive answer.
Okay,
What
sure.
would you do, Genva?
Bro, I think in terms of players and managers, they will always have pull. That's not a problem to attract good talent or to attract even good coaches. In terms of ownership, I would say steadily and smartly invest, I guess. I mean, there are two facets to recruitment, largely two schools of thought. Either you're extremely data driven, like let's say a Brighton or a Brentford, or you have a shitload of money, like Man City, and whatever player you lay your eyes upon, you can simply buy and keep improving the squad. So I'm pretty sure United can go into the latter category to a certain extent. I mean, they have done also, but thoda sa try to find the ground, wherever, like try to buy those players which fit the principles of the club, define those principles of the club. Well, thoda sa it's a very ground up sort of work. I don't think itna easy hai कि अपन like appoint a new manager and then it's done. Uh, you have to hire that kind of a guy, and also the kind of backroom staff that creates an environment, a very much more positive environment. By the way, I know a very positive coach. His name rhymes with Thomas Shank. He'll help you develop a very good environment at your club. But I think it will be a couple of years of mediocrity for Man United, it looks like, because a lot of things have already been tried in terms of pretty much all of the squad has been overhauled. Managers have come and go. Not a lot has changed, so it'll be a painful process.
Akshat, have a
Uh,
go.
yep. I want to start from I think 2012. Since then, Manu have been on this.
Everyone does.
Yeah, Alex, my bro Alex left, never recovered. Uh, but I think the best season from an outside perspective, like a person who doesn't follow Manchester United, for me was when there was Jose Mourinho at the club since 2012, and he was a guy with a personality, guy with a vision. And since Sir Alex left, uh, there hasn't been a guy with a vision. They just wanted someone who could take care, a caretaker rather than a Steve Jobs sort of a person. Like, what do you call that? Like someone who is a maverick, sort of. Everybody can gravitate towards that coach, that manager. Jose kind of did that. Ole kind of did that, but it never felt at home. So I feel it has to come from the within, and the reason Manu went for Amorim and all the talk in the media was that he is that maverick. He is the guy who, sticks to the system and all that, and that kind of they tripped over their own feet with that, you know and now I feel they are trying to look within their history, like Arsenal, who went with Arteta, gave them the time. Now they have their own. I think Darren Fletcher um, is the interim manager, but I don't know Fletcher, and I have never seen him play. Does he have that maverick personality? Does he have that vision? Does he have that gravitas to pull such a club and shape its identity? If I was in their shoes right now, like the decision maker, and I'm thinking I care about this club, I want this club to do extremely well. Given the resources, I would go with someone who has the gravity, has the ability to shape the mindset, and bring back the swagger which was there. I mean, you guys have seen that picture of Rooney. I think there was Rio Ferdinand. The 2012 players walking in their street clothes in Manchester. That sort of thing is missing right now from Menu. So that's what I would bring. A little bit of attitude, but that doesn't work
A
with
bit
the
of
current
attitude always helps.
decision makers. So
Samin, finally on to you, someone who knows things about the club.
I'd start with oil money because very clearly there's nothing anybody in the Premier League can do to stop a club with oil money. We've been seeing that for the last 16 years. If you have oil money, you are basically above reproach. No amount of financial fair play rules apply to you. No amount of UEFA rules apply to you. You can buy players, sell players. Nobody really gives a shit what you do. That's the first step. If that doesn't work, which I don't think it will, then you have to look at more reasonable ways to go. The first one, and this is something that the last two managers have failed to do, is like play the United way. Like the reason United became such a huge club through the 90s and the 2000s and the first 3 years of the 2010s is because they had a strict identity. Fast counter-attacking football with fast, pacey wingers. Like you had way back in the 90s, you had Giggs, you had Beckham. Then later in the 2000s, you had Giggs, you had Ronaldo, you had Rooney playing around, briefly on the wings for a while. It's an identity that's worked for 23 years. It continued to not like be entirely successful after Sir Alex left, but it was still good enough to get very mediocre United teams into the Champions League almost every season. It worked under Oli for those 3 years. Second behind City, third behind City in Liverpool, and had he been backed and given the targets that he identified, could have resulted in silverware. Because let's be honest, the targets he was lining up and saying, I want, went on to become names that you look at and be, you know what? Those seem like guys Sir Alex would have signed while he was at United. He wanted Caicedo before Brighton got him. For 1 million, the club said no. He wanted Rice like 2 years before he went to Arsenal, the club said no. He wanted Haaland before he went to Dortmund, the club said no. After a while, you think, well, obviously the guys who were in charge then are not in charge now. But you look at what the current guys in charge are doing, and you think, you know what, they weren't going to make different decisions. They would have told him no, and then for good measure, they would have told him to fuck off publicly as well. So it's like you have to remember that the club you are sort of buying into as both ownership and as a manager is built on an identity. It's a global brand. It's like Real, it's like Barca. Like when you say Real, you say Barca, you have these images that come to mind. You say Barca, people think tiki taka, liquid football, quick, short passes, constant movement. You say Real, people think of, superstar players coming here and doing their thing and like the fame that comes with it. Similarly, you say United, there's this sort of, like Akshay said, there's a swagger that comes with it. And you sort of do need a manager who can implement that. And the closest I've seen was during those 2.5 to 3 COVID-riddled seasons when we had Oli in charge, because we could go 1-0 down and I'd sit back and relax. Like there's like a 90% chance we still win this game, and that was how we played. We played fast, we played quick, counter-attacking football. The players were utilized to the best of their abilities, and everything was flowing. He
Uh,
was
One question: when was who was managing Pogba? Like who was the manager during his time at Manchester? Second time at United.
We had Jose at the start, and then we had
Uh-huh.
Oli uske baad mein.
I feel that is the kind of midfielder you guys need, not
Exactly.
Ugarte. I mean, bro,
Exactly.
like when Pogba was playing, I remember this one particular Manchester derby. It was at Etihad, and if
Yeah,
City won that game, we would have
they
won
were
the
gonna
Premier
win.
League.
They were gonna win the
Yeah,
league. Yeah,
and we were two
yeah.
nil up.
And then
Gundo
Pogba
scored, and
happened.
I think
Uh,
one guy,
no, no,
no,
I know exactly. I know exactly what
Gundo
happened.
scored twice.
Gundo scored once. Company scored once off a corner.
Okay,
And then
okay.
second half, maybe we had.
And
I
then
think
second half,
Pogba
Jose
scored.
Mourinho did
Ander
something.
Herrera
He talked to
scored,
them.
and
He reached their mind,
yeah,
and
Pogba scored.
he,
Ander Herrera scored, and Chris Smalling scored to like complete the turnaround.
yeah, the
The
winner
game,
was by Pogba, but
Nini,
the other two goals.
the winner was Chris Smalling. Pogba scored the
Okay,
equalizer.
okay.
The
The
game in
second
the end meant
equalizer,
the game in the end meant nothing because we lost to West Brom the next weekend,
Swansea,
and like
Swansea,
नहीं West Brom tha. Swansea was out of the league
even
by then.
worse.
Yeah, and City won the league because we lost to West Brom. But like that's the kind of player you want.
Yeah,
You want someone
and
who's
manager, because
yeah,
Jose was able to connect with Andre Herrera, Pogba, and to remind them, first of all, who they are as players, and second of all, who the club is for them.
exactly.
So,
Like even when we
uh,
look at like Ollie's time in charge, he had Fred playing like amazing football. Fred got Brazil call-ups because of Ollie. Fred hasn't been in the Brazil squad since he left. I don't know where Fred is playing anymore, if he's even playing at all. Like Fred was the kind of guy I'd look at like, you know what? This guy's like really good. How did no one else think of signing him? And then you see everything he's done since then, you're like, okay, he's like really bad, but he looked good in the system he was put in. And like, if you want system players, then you make sure that you give them a system in which they can operate. Don't come in with a system and then force your players to fit into systems that they haven't been playing in ever, which is what Amram was doing. He's asking, in my opinion, a top three attacking midfielder in the world to play in a double pivot next to a 40-year-old. And it's like, of course, he's going to get dribbled past. Of course, he's going to get out muscled because that's not his game. His game is playing as far ahead as possible. His game is nearly playing as a second striker. And Bruno was still contributing. Like he was still doing everything he's supposed to do as an attacking midfielder, but he was doing it from way back. So it's like, yeah, I'd love to see a manager like Ollie who can connect with the club, who knows what the club is about. The vibes have never been higher post Sir Alex than when he was in charge. And his demise was largely down to decisions made by the board in re signing Ronaldo when he looked like he could have been going to City. Re signing Ronaldo meant we had to build too big of a wage structure and we had to let Dan James go. With Dan James gone and Mason Greenwood's case, we had nobody to play right wing, which means we ended up playing Bruno there at times. We played Ilanga there at times. Played Cavani there at times. God knows what. And like just fluidity was all knocked out of balance because Ronaldo was like forced into the structure simply because of what big of a name he is. So it's like you can have the manager who understands the team, understand what the team is about, promoting the academy, trusting the youth, playing fast counter-attacking football. But you also need a board that understands that there was a time we would sign big name players and kind of, capitalize off of that. But that time may not be now. Like we don't necessarily need to do that anymore because the big name players are gonna
Hmm.
get their game off. Obviously, like we're seeing it in Real right now. Mbappe is getting his game off, but it is kind of adversely affecting Vinny and Rodrigo. Like if you told me that Vinny, who came second in the Ballon d'Or 2 years ago, would go like 20 games without scoring a goal, abhi, I would have laughed at you.
cap.
But the yeah, but like the sad fact of the matter is because Mbappe has come in and they play such similar roles, he's forced to kind of just take a back seat. So kind of remember who you are as a
I mean,
club.
that's owing to the whole bigger thing of, there being no separation between the club as like a company and the club being a team. So that's that's like at
I
the
I
core of that philosophy. And I
I
think
actually
United, Spurs, when I mean this guy was there, तुम्हारा वो
Daniel
कौन था
Levy,
यार?
Daniel Levy.
हाँ, Daniel Levy, Dan Levy. So
Poch can also
that
come to
is the ever
United,
present.
I
I
think.
don't think that's going to go away.
I'll be honest. I wrote a research paper about this for company law. How sporting
I
institutions
remember.
are
Oh,
being run
no.
as business institutions rather than what they actually are. But like yeah, it comes down to that
The
fact.
capitalization
Sure,
of sport, man.
exactly. Like the entirety of United's modern
Yeah, but
history, 1992 onwards, is built on academy players. Like, sure, United had big names, but those big names were there because the academy was platformed. Like the class of 92 were all entirely homegrown. They became big names because of the work they did here. So, like, maybe don't get big names in from outside and maybe trust your academy. Because one more thing that the Glazers did during the time is by not giving a lot of investment money back to the club, players that could have signed for the United Academy have signed with others. Kasper Schmeichel signed with City's academy when he could have very easily been a starting caliber keeper at United. He won a league, man. Kasper Schmeichel won a league with Leicester City, right? I'm pretty sure he was in that squad when they won the league. Both of Darren Fletcher's sons, twin sons, who are now holding the bench over the last 3-4 games, were in the City Academy. After
Yeah.
they reached the age of 18, they moved to the
Bro,
United
City
Academy.
Academy has provided so much talent to all of Europe right now. I
I
like over
know.
the past decade since
It has
Exactly.
provided
2010.
us with a lot of money as well, right? Yes.
And that's all down
A
to
Because
lot of
investment.
it.
profit.
That's all down to investment. Like that's what Ineos is trying to do with the academy, but they're
Mhm.
trying to do it as pure profit, where you promote a player, make him good, and then sell him. But that's not what United teams in the
But
past have done with the academy.
Sami, expanding on this culture of the club, spoke about Ole possibly coming back to United. But what do you think? Like, who is a good fit right now as a manager for United?
I think a good fit as a manager for United, there's not a lot of options, first of all. With this new brand of hipster manager who's very set on his ways and not willing to compromise, there's not a lot of options. But if you want someone to come in and understand the importance of representing a club as big as Manchester United, you need someone who's had experience with other big clubs in the past, which means you go for someone like Zidane if he's willing to tarnish his stellar managerial reputation and take up this shithole of a job. You look at someone like Xavi, you look at someone who's played and worked at gigantic clubs because they know what pressure is like. If you do badly at Barca, you're going to get criticized in Spain no matter what. Like, sure, Barca could win one of the three local trophies, but if you don't finish second in the league at worst and qualify for the Champions League, you're going to get slaughtered. Xavi lost to United in the Europa League. He was he was shit on from all angles. So like someone who understands the pressure of managing for a big club and knows how to handle the media circus that comes with it. That's the biggest part. Because one thing about
I mean,
United,
Xavi would be great because he comes from Barca. He's seen how important La Masia is for Barcelona. So I guess the whole point of you talking about teenagers or youngsters coming through the academy, he could be a great catalyst for that.
I mean, Xavi gave Pedri and the other guy, what's his name, Gavi, his their debuts, if I'm not wrong. Both
True.
of
he
these
gave
players have.
he gave Lamine
Uh,
Yamal also his debut,
Didn't Yamal make his debut when Xavi was there already?
Yeah, yeah.
and
Xavi
he
gave
he
debut to Yamal, Pau Kubarsi, and Fermin. He trusted Fermin when he was like definitely unknown. He was playing in some second division, definitely La
yeah
Liga.
he platformed
All of
Rafinha
who
in
are
his
now
new role.
playing
Yeah,
crucial first role. Yeah.
Yeah, he gave Rafinha his current role, which should
yeah.
have won him a Ballon d'Or last year if Barca wasn't so obsessed with platforming Lamine Yamal as a 17-year-old. Because Rafinha had the consensus best season I've seen in a while. Like he was doing everything for them. So yeah,
Talking about sackings, what do you feel about Chelsea sacking?
Yes,
Have we
yes, we
discussed
do
that
need to move
already?
on from United. It's been half an hour talking about
see,
United.
I'll be honest.
Uh,
Chelsea gets a lot of stick for their hire and fire policy. But when you're that big of a club, this is what you should be doing. Like Chelsea, you mock them for their hire and fire, but they won a league, they won a Champions League, they won a Europa League, they won a Conference League, they won the Club World Cup. And like when you want money to be able to buy players and invest into your own academy, you kind of need to win trophies. And Chelsea have done that.
There have been 5 instances when a manager has been fired after winning 2 trophies in a season. So Maresca is
Chelsea
also
have all
part of
five
that.
of them, right?
Yeah, Chelsea has all 5 of them.
Like you just,
That
I
is
mean,
I
very
think
take
interesting.
like the
they have figured out the a trend over there, and they are not planning on dropping the trend.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
and twice was Jose actually.
but like if that's what I'm saying, right? It works. It's not pretty, it's not that financially stable, but it works. You see a manager start to
Mercenary
lose.
managers.
Yeah, because like let's be honest, unless you're getting a manager who's a former player of your team, he's never
Hmm.
going to fully understand what it means to represent the club.
Who's the new guy? I have never heard his name or even
He used to play
what.
for Brighton and he managed
Uh-huh.
Strasbourg this season. So
Okay.
he's a product of two of Chelsea's favorite targets, which is Brighton and Strasbourg, who's a feeder club. I want to say feeder club when it's not. It's a multi-ownership thing,
Hmm.
multi-club ownership from Clear Lake.
Interesting. And he has just
He was a
managed.
journalist in Guardian also. At some point in time, he used to write football articles.
Yeah, I also remember reading that
Yeah.
he wrote an open letter to Donald Trump criticizing his racist views. At least he's
Samin, तुम
got that going for him. He's got that
keep
going for him.
writing, keep writing. 20 years later, we see you at the dugout.
Never. One slander article on Twitter and I'll kill myself. Straight up. Can't
While we're
handle
on
that
the
shit.
topic of Chelsea, they have appointed a new manager in DM Rosnier, who's coming from Strasbourg, who are owned by the same company, Blueco. And there was a very interesting piece that Sabine shared, which basically is saying that Strasbourg didn't really want him to go. They were like their hand was forced a bit. And this is like it
Sad.
dwells into this issue of multi-club ownership, which has been rampant in Europe and other countries also. With the same group that owns Crystal Palace owns, Leon, they also own Botafogo. So this is, I don't know, this trend of multi-club ownership is a bit sad to see because ultimately what is happening is Strasbourg have a good manager if they do, if Liam Rosnier is really good, and they are essentially being forced to let go of whatever's good going to their team. It, this is extremely fucking frustrating to view as a neutral also.
But that
I
is
don't know how
what the
Chelsea fans feel
system
about
of
it.
a feeder club is, right? They are trying out new content over there, new talent over there, and seeing if that talent is worth bringing up to the first class. So I see the problem from the players and the fans' perspective, but if I am seeing from the Blueco perspective, they are making it work. And I feel City group has a role to play in this because they started with
Of course, yeah.
the
City
whole
Group
thing.
and Red Bull. Red Bull also
Yeah,
does this.
and Jurgen Klopp is
Red
now
Bull as well, yeah.
handling the Red Bull
Yeah.
thing. So
After
interesting.
criticizing multi-club ownership while at
Uh,
Liverpool, Klopp sold his
Mhm.
soul to go and become Red Bull ka this thing.
It's football, man. It's
Nee, so like
business.
Rather
no,
than
but
football,
like
it's a business, man. It's धंधा है
yeah.
भाई.
Mhm.
So like
धंधा
like
चला
Akshay
रहे हैं
said,
लोग.
there are morally gray yet positive things to come because they are kind of doing what they were meant for. But then,
Mhm.
if
Hmm.
you look at Chelsea's deals over this last summer, they signed Julio Enciso from Brighton to go to Strasbourg and he's going to join Chelsea in 2028, which means Strasbourg is paying his wages, doing everything for him, for a player they don't want. But Blue Co ने sign किया है, so they have to keep him there. They sent Ben Chilwell into Strasbourg. Again, Ben Chilwell is not as good as he used to be. So he's sitting there. I'll be honest, I don't know what Strasbourg is doing. I know they're seventh in the league, but I know nothing about their like players and all. So for all you know, Ben Chilwell is sitting on the bench every day, making absurd amounts of money, simply because Chelsea doesn't want him on their wage structure. And it's kind of like, how far can you go? It's not illegal, because if it was, there would have been sanctions placed on them. Because sanctions have been placed on Crystal Palace. They weren't allowed to participate in the Europa League because Lyon was
Europa
there.
League, yeah.
Exactly. So sanctions being placed is a clear thing. It would be very weird if UEFA is deciding not to place sanctions on a club as big as Chelsea simply because of what bigger name they are. And you look at multi-club ownership, a lesser successful version of it is with United and Lille, I think. Both teams are doing horrendously, and they have one common factor, which is the Ineos ownership group. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah, Chelsea is doing it the right way, in the whole way. Like, the method with which you want to do multi ownership is use one club to kind of feed into the other, which they're doing in the right way as far as it
Right way,
goes.
yeah.
But it's a very gray area, and it's not something that I personally think should be in football like that. Because, yeah, sure,
But
Chelsea fans
moving
are
on
getting
from
everything.
gray area to a great area, what I want to do, because we're pressing for time, I want to talk about AFCON, dude. AFCON is
Yes,
going on. A lot of shenanigans have gone down. A fucking country's FA has been suspended. A lot has been going on. Akshat, you are an AFCON correspondent. What is going on in Africa? You're on mute, brother.
I think he's on a call.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
I think he's in
Maybe
Africa.
he's getting info.
his mind's an Afcon. Nee, so at
Maybe he's
least
getting the info on
while
the rains in Africa.
while he finishes up his call, I can tell you the Gabon ka news because I shared that.
Yes,
Uh,
the Gabon FA,
they
yes.
they were in Afcon's group of death with Cameroon, Ivory Coast, and Mozambique. As many would have expected, Cameroon and Ivory Coast went through, but Mozambique finished third, and they were one of the better third place teams, so they qualified. Gabon lost all three of their games, which is not something you want when you have Aubameyang leading your line. So after the elimination, after going 0-3 in AFCON, their FA was suspended, disbanded almost. Their national team was suspended. The head coach was fired, and Aubameyang and another senior member of the squad, I think Buanga, I think he used to play in France. They were
Danny
both told,
Buanga.
yeah,
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
both told that they will never play for the country again, and they will never work for the football team in the future after retirement,
Yeah.
because the country and the government deemed it that embarrassing to not qualify for the later stages of AFCON.
Do we have our AFCON correspondent back?
Yeah, Akshat, over to you.
Hello, guys. I was talking to my sources in Africa. They were just sending me the information. So, are you guys ready for the round of 16 update?
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So, we have, as of now, six teams finalized out of eight in the
Okay.
quarterfinals. Mali versus Senegal is the first one. Senegal defeated Sudan 3-1, proper victory over there. Whereas Mali, they had a very competitive game against Tunisia and a very competitive penalty shootout. I see Senegal progressing through quite easily. Mali is there uh, based on a lot of lucky factors. Either team out of Tunisia or Mali could have gone through, but in the tie between Mali and Senegal, because of the stronger team that Senegal has, I feel they are going to go to the next round. Then we have Cameroon versus Morocco as the other quarterfinal. Cameroon defeated South Africa. That was also quite competitive in the second half, where South Africa tried to get back into the game, but two goals in one in the first half, one in the beginning of second half, made sure that Cameroon went through. I see Cameroon as really strong contenders this time around because they have a lot of players that I know. So that is why I feel that they are. Because, come on, man! Like I was checking the squads, and there are just these names that sound like they are from uh, Black Panther 3, but I feel Cameroon have a really strong team, and then they are
Can I
playing
just
against
can I
Morocco.
just interrupt you right there? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Another reason Cameroon squad is really strong is because Onana hasn't been selected. If they had
Oh my
Onana
God.
playing as the starting keeper, I bet you Brian Mbeumo would have been back at United right now.
Oh na na na. Oh na na na. Oh na na na.
I remember that clip also, जहाँ पे वो बोलता है what a hilarious, hilarious dude. हाथ में नहीं पकड़ी जाती भाई, मुंह पे आती थी बॉल. And but looking at Senegal score, Senegal looks like a good contender also, yeah.
Yes, yes, of course.
All the stars are there.
Uh,
All the stars. Mamadou Sarr, Ismaila Sarr, Pape Sarr. All the stars are there, dude. Sadio
Sen-
Mane is
Nicholas
there.
Senegal's
Nicholas
Jackson.
Jackson.
Senegal's always been a strong
Koulibaly is also
contender.
there.
Didn't
It's
they
like
win AFCON?
entering
Like,
And they
Bangalore.
defeated 3-1 in the fucking friendlies.
yeah, didn't they win AFCON a few years back? Few years back when Sadio Mane was still at Liverpool. They won AFCON, defeating Egypt somewhere on the way. And I
No,
remember in the
Algeria.
game, it's
In 2022, they
That was
defeated
Algeria.
Algeria
Yeah, that was Real
they
Mahrez.
to win
defeated
AFCON.
Algeria in the finals, but did they not go through Egypt? Because I remember Liverpool
Uh,
fans kind of having like a thing on social media saying, "How could
that was
Sadio Mane?"
2019. They were runner-ups when Egypt won, and they were runner-ups in 2019. And then they also won in 2021, defeating Cameroon. So there you go. Senegal versus Cameroon could be another final this year. We we predicted here. So pretentious football reviews. You heard it here first.
I think Morocco has
This
some
Morocco is
Senegal
the
players.
team
other
has a lot
team.
of Spurs.
Sorry, Varun. Go ahead.
I'm saying this Senegal team has a lot of Spurs players also.
Only one, I think. Pape.
No, Sarr is also there,
Is
no?
big.
Sarr and Koulibaly.
Only sir. Huh?
Koulibaly doesn't play for Spurs.
Koulibaly
Oh,
never played
Koulibaly.
for Spurs. Played for
I
Chelsea.
Koulibaly
thought he played
played
for
for
Spurs.
Napoli, then he played for Chelsea, and then he went to Saudi.
Oh, who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of someone else. अभी कौन आया था यार इस season?
Denzo.
Spurs में PSG से.
Kevin Danso. What? Colomwani.
नहीं.
What?
Colomani is
Colomwani.
French, man. Colomani is French, man. He
Colomwani,
has the famous
Colomwani है क्या?
he has the famous World Cup final moment where he smashed it off against Martinez's leg, which would have been the winner.
That was
That
I
heart
forgot
was
he
and
took
mouth.
that shot. I
that
thought
was
that was
Colomani.
Koulibaly.
Mukiele.
खलबली हो गया है दिल खल. But then we have two remaining quarterfinals with teams yet to be decided. One is Egypt, of course. They will either play against Ivory Coast or Burkina Faso. So I feel
Burkina
Ivory
Faso
Coast.
made it so far, damn.
Uh, I feel like it will be Egypt versus Ivory Coast as the third quarterfinal. And then finally, we have a team which might be a dark horse and could very well, go to the final. Nigeria, Osimhen leading the line. They are playing quite well, really good form. I feel they have scored the highest goals in the AFCON up till now. All of their round, like I'm saying ground, group stage matches, they scored 8 goals, and now they scored 4 in the game. So now they have 12 goals. So really offensive team over there. They might play against Algeria or the Republic of Congo, and that match is going on right now. 20 to 30 minutes left. Nil nil right now. So by the end of today, we will know the team that will play against Nigeria. So really exciting. The highlights that I have watched of AFCON have showed really interesting goals, really interesting gameplay as well, a lot of passion. And I will try to watch all the games from all the quarterfinal games too, because I feel that that's where we can actually see what's going to happen in the World Cup as well. I for the World Cup. Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Your voice broke off there, Akshat. Hello. Akshat, I think your voice broke off. Okay, I think Akshat has disconnected.
Okay.
Moving
In the
on from
meanwhile,
AFCON,
wait. In the meanwhile, I can give
the
you
episode
some
is
more.
called Full Time.
I can give you some more
Oh, more
AFCON fun
AFCON,
facts.
more AFCON tea. Yes, go ahead.
Moroccan striker Ayoub El Khabi is known as a bicycle kick specialist. If you go onto Twitter and search like Ayoub El Khabi bicycle kicks, he has like a 6 minute highlight reel of just bicycle kicks. He scored one this AFCON to win the opening game or something like that. A 6 minute highlight reel of him scoring only bicycle kicks. Granted, it's like a
The
lot of
image that
replays
I
and
get when I search for his name is him performing a bicycle kick, bro.
all. Yeah, so
I
he's
have to
what
do this again. Ayub El Khabi.
yes. He's
This is
called a
why I
bicycle.
love this podcast, man. This is the content
He's called
I'm
a
living for.
bicycle kick specialist because that's the best kind of goal he scores. He scored one this tournament. I don't know if it was the first
Nice.
game or the second game that Morocco played.
Bicycle kick king.
He's
Do you think that
crazy.
fucks with the defender's head? That his
I've
position
seen I've seen
is not that bad. He's going for a bicycle kick. Fuck.
I've seen a lot of great bicycle kicks in my time. The Ronaldo one against Juventus, Garnacho against Everton. But the power that this guy gets on his bicycle kicks is crazy. He might as well just be kicking it like a normal point of normal position because there is no way he should be able to get that much power in the ball with that angle of his body and that accurate. Like he has so many
AFCON
goals.
kicks giving.
Do his teammates just cross it for the fucking bicycle kick? I'm very confused. This is a very unique thing to be specialized in.
But I have one more question for you guys. Why does Brahim Diaz play for Morocco? Because I thought he was Spanish. And
Nani,
when
he has
He
Moroccan
played one game
heritage.
for Spain. He has Moroccan heritage too.
One of his parents is Moroccan, the other one is
and
Spanish.
another
Even
of
Lamine Yamal is
City,
Moroccan, if I'm not wrong, right?
So a lot of these guys, obviously, if they don't get call-ups for their like main national squad, they end up going to like their African squad. Like Lucas Zidane is playing for Algeria because
Algeria, yeah.
France don't need goalkeepers, so they never called him up. So he's playing for Algeria. Wan Bissaka is playing for Congo because Southgate never called him up. Tuanzebe is playing for Congo again because Southgate never called him up for English duty. And like it's gotten to a point where a lot of these African managers have told these players, these young players who are still deciding where to go, that if you want to play for us, we should be your first choice. Because I think a few Arsenal guys, I don't know if they're still at the club or not, but they were sort of confused of should I wait for an England call up or should I go with my roots? And one of them ended up going to his roots after England didn't call him up. So like the club, the manager straight up told him that if you want to play for your national team, we should be your first choice. Don't come to us as a backup option. Be proud to be Nigerian, play for your Nigerian team because you have that national pride.
Of
Don't come
course,
to us
man,
because
Wakanda
England
forever.
didn't call you up. That's the kind of thing. Like it's become important now with AFCON getting so much, global this thing, and African teams actually becoming that much better quality wise because their players are getting opportunities in Europe. So I think it's a great step from national team coaches. They're telling these guys, if you want to play for us first. Don't keep us as like a backup option because your current country didn't call you up.
Moving on from AFCON to end it, since our series is called Full Time, you wanna let's just brush up on the table once before we leave you.
Yeah,
Uh,
while you
it's
do
still
that,
Arsenal
Varun, I
at the
want
top.
to ask
Yes.
Piyush if Frank is getting sacked this next few days in the great massacre of 2026.
Next few days, I don't think so. I
In
think,
next few months.
I think
You made it sound very ominous, Piyush.
अभी तो
it
नहीं
could be
मरेगा.
today, grandma. It could be today.
अगले महीने पकड़ सकते हैं उसको.
But bro, I think the problem is there. You know what happens is in the summer, World Cup will end and a lot of coaches might become available. So I think it's more of an availability issue. Like, do you have a replacement lined up for him or not? Rather than, I mean, I for one think that I don't think this will go in any positive direction. So as soon as we are safe that we're not getting relegated like last year, we should start looking for options and we should start talking to options like right fucking now because this is not going to work long term, obviously. But I
Are you
think why?
sending your CV?
Sorry,
Are you sending your CV to
oh, bro, I would not. I can't. Of all the things I can, this, this is where I draw the line. Managing a club is too much, man. Then nowadays
managing?
they don't allow you to smoke on the touchline. So like, what's
At least vape allowed होना चाहिए.
I
I
think
You want to wait.
whenever,
Do you want to see 50-year-old European men vape on the touchline?
bro, Carlo
Yes, it
Ancelotti
would be
used to
hilarious.
wait, like,
Can you
whenever
imagine?
he was
Like
not on the touchline.
I'm just picturing Pep during his mental breakdown phase from last year, where he was, scratching his face and like bleeding, puffing on like a blueberry raspberry vape on the sideline. Like that's an image.
I want to see Hansi Flick smoke vape and then cough because you know what he would look like. You remember those reels where the guy's like, "Am I supposed to chase after them?" He would look exactly like that.
by many, I haven't watched this clip, but God, Varun, that sentence could be memed. Can we like get a snippet of it?
Bro, it always happens whenever Luke Shaw is supposed to play against any winger anytime.
Are we supposed to chase that?
Yes.
It used to be. You're forgetting this is a World Cup year, which means this is the best football Luke Shaw's going to play for the
He's
next
playing good.
4 years. For the next 4 years, this is
This
the
is the
most you're going
best
to see
football
Luke
he's
Shaw.
going to play if he does, is the
Yeah.
problem. But if he
He's
does,
not getting called up to the England squad. It's very clear with the way Tommy Tokes plays. But as long as Shaw's deluded about his chances, I hope United take advantage of that and use his, upturn in form to their advantage.
in the dressing room, they're like, hey, देख रहा हुआ? देखा वो टीवी पे देख रहा होगा ढंग से खेलना इंसान
भाग भाग,
Pretentious।
चीज नहीं आज तेरे लिए।
Okay, wait. So
वो
I'm
ड्रेसिंग
looking
रूम
at
में आ रहा है इंग्लैंड का झंडा लगाया है उसके डेस्क पे
I'm looking at Tottenham's upcoming fixtures.
Tell me, bro. Tell me.
Uh, Bournemouth on 8th Jan. Spurs
Mm-hmm.
should win this. Should.
No, absolutely
they
not.
did terribly last time they faced Bournemouth by the way
Yeah,
Irola
it was a very
had a
shit
masterclass
1-0
win
defeat.
Okay.
Bournemouth
Villa in the FA Cup. I'm counting this as a loss.
loss, easy. Next.
West Ham at home should not be a loss. West Ham just gave Wolves their first win of the season.
I
but
think
you know
this
what
is
you know
where
what the
Frank the
problem
Tank
is it's
will
at
show
home
his foot.
Spurs
Yeah,
home record is horrible this season.
Very,
I
very
think
horrible.
I think if Frank loses to West Ham, he might get sacked.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah.
If Daniel Levy was still at the club, actually, he would have gotten sacked by now. And now, I mean, I keep thinking about it that we didn't stick with coaches long enough, and then when we have to sack someone, it's like we're just sitting hand on hand. At least with Ange, it was like there is some hope of winning Europa and getting Champions League again. With this
Yeah.
guy, there, I don't see anything.
Okay, let's say he survives West Ham, right? There's Dortmund in the Champions League.
I think in Champions League we're doing still okay.
Yeah, so I'm counting the Dortmund game as a win. Like Spurs should not be losing to Dortmund.
I mean, sure, we drew to
Then
Monaco, but sure.
then there's Burnley away. Away record is good, right? Spurs ka away record is
No,
pretty
you
decent.
did.
Yeah,
You didn't
record is
just
very good.
drew against Monaco. Did Pogba play against you, or was it some other
No,
team
Pogba
he
wasn't
played?
playing.
No, no,
By
Acha.
Pogba played in the league. He hasn't played Champions League football yet.
Imagine playing against Pogba, giving him the fucking what was it? What was the award? The comeback
Comeback
of the
award.
year.
Yeah, comeback of the year.
Comeback award. Jesus
Okay, so
Christ, man.
after Burnley, it's Frankfurt in the Champions League.
we did beat them in Europa, but I don't know.
Yeah, so basically
Bro,
that's
I don't know actually this year. Even last season I didn't know, but this season I don't know
More
none.
than you don't know.
mind you,
More than
Frankfurt is seventh in Bundesliga.
yeah, Frankfurt have lost a lot of players though.
Yeah, so
You never know.
Frankfurt is Spurs' last game in Jan. If Frank is not gone by then, his first game in Feb is Man City at home, which he will win.
Yeah,
Somehow Pep cannot beat Spurs away.
yeah,
I don't understand it.
yeah.
We didn't beat
And
them at home also this season.
They
We
they
lost
beat us
2-1.
at home also.
if he manages a win against City, he plays United the week after that.
भाई प्रीमियर लीग टाइटल मिल जाएगा अगर सिटी स्पर्स को हार गई
If
तो इट
Spurs
इज
played City
आर्सेनल
38 games a season.
True, bro. True.
So yeah, I think a loss to West Ham means he's gone. And if he doesn't lose to West Ham, he keeps the job going into Feb.
And even Ryan Mason got sacked.
Ryan Mason got sacked right before. No, Jose Mourinho got sacked right before Cup final to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
replaced with Ryan Mason, which is like some elite Spurs behavior. Why
4D
would you
4D
sack
chess.
the special one before a final?
Actually, it's perfectly sensible.
Yeah, and see, I can understand. I get the sacking. He wasn't doing great, but it's a final against Pep, which means Jose is coming out with every trick in the book.
Yeah, yeah,
He's gonna will that team to a win no matter what. He's not losing to Pep again, especially in a final, because he wants to get his show off. Like, huh? I beat Pep again. I'm the special one. I don't need
Was it
big
always
books.
against
always a big
City?
measuring contest between
Hmm?
Pep
I
and
don't.
Jose is always yeah.
Exactly.
But that final was against City, really.
Yeah, yeah. City,
It
Carabao
was a
Cup should
Carabao Cup
Yeah.
final, which means it was City. I think
I
City's won
would.
like 6 of the last 8 Carabao Cups.
वो तो अपना मतलब पर्सनल है वो इट्स लाइक
Let's not
But
get
yeah,
cocky, dude. We got beat by Palace in the fucking FA Cup semi final.
Ha,
That was
but
We
all
don't
that's
have good
master
history
plan.
with cup finals.
that's
That was
okay
all
because
master
Palace
plan.
went on to win the FA Cup. I think what's more embarrassing is you lost to an Alejandro Garnacho winner in the FA Cup final. Okay, it was a
It
Menu
is.
winner, but Garnacho scored the
I was
opening goal.
watching that match, with a United supporter. It was
I
horrible.
watched the I watched the year
It
before
was
that when
supposed to be my
Gundogan
birthday
scored.
celebration. It was fucking horrible. It was so horrible. I slept
Bro,
early.
bro. So it was a derby, two finals in a row, right? And the previous one, Gundogan
Yeah,
scored in like the 11th second because De Gea
11
doesn't know how
second.
to use his hands. And I was like, the moment the clock hit 11 seconds and the score was still nil-nil, I took a shot because that meant something to me. We made it past 11 seconds without conceding. I was like, this is bigger than the game. And then we won, and I was too much in shock to kind of do anything about it.
Suffering from success.
But
Oh my
Piyush, do you
god,
think
looking.
summer में they change Frank at the very least? मतलब ये ज़्यादा
So,
से ज़्यादा summer तक.
up in the summer, you would have managers like Poch, Nagelsmann, maybe maybe Arne Slot.
isn't
There's
Potts
a
still
lot of
managing the
managers.
US men's team?
Yeah, he is. But after the World Cup, a lot of managers might part ways because
Ha, that is valid. Plus, Poch's US men's team has been so shit that I think
I
they'll
mean,
fire
yes,
him.
Tuchel though will part ways
I
if
would
he loses.
personally I wouldn't take him back, but yes, you would have a lot more options essentially.
Yeah,
So
Thomas
probably
Tuchel
they'll
at
wait. I think
Spurs
they
or
should.
Manu would be so interesting to watch. I really like his gameplay. He's very tactical, very smart. Either of the
Who
clubs will be really interesting.
who is smart?
But Thomas Tuchel
Oh
at
yeah.
Spurs or at Manu, both teams something. But I don't know. Immediately after World Cup, into a
He
club.
might want a break
Hmm.
because, especially you consider the fact that he's the England coach right now. Anything less than a win is a failure for England, and we know the media circus that follows the English national team. Which means if he doesn't win the World Cup with England, he's going to take a break from like managing as a whole. But I
Well,
can see
wrapping up,
Spurs. Once I can
this
see
trend of
Spurs convincing.
changing. Sorry,
I can see Spurs convincing like a Fabregas maybe. If they throw enough money at him, Fabregas could consider it. Like he's doing a good job at Como. They're like fourth in the league. But the only problem is he's a bit of an asshole as a manager. Issues
I'm
with
just thinking why would he
managing
come?
young players.
Yeah.
If he starts managing Spurs, then I feel like Arsenal players will just attack his house at that point.
Arsenal fans already hate
he's played for
Fabregas. He
Chelsea,
left them
man.
for
Might as
Exactly.
well do the
he
whole
left them
trifecta.
for he left them for
Ex-
Barca and he played for Chelsea. I don't think Arsenal fans have any love for Fabregas anymore.
no, that's
No,
what
I
I'm
would
saying.
want him
Like,
to go to Spurs. It completes the trifecta, the whole Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
the London orgy complete हो जाती है उससे.
but Varun, I think you were concluding.
Yes.
Yeah, wrapping up. Arsenal at the top. 4 points. 4 points clear, or is it five now? What is it? Four.
4 points or 6 points, is it?
Yeah,
It was
six
four
अरे
points
before
भाई
actually
match.
because we drew against
It
fucking.
was it was four because City couldn't fucking beat those guys.
Yeah.
Sunderland. City couldn't beat
And honestly,
Sunderland.
Chelsea looked horrible, and
अबे Chelsea भाई,
we couldn't
Chelsea के
beat
साथ क्या
Sunderland.
होगा?
That Chelsea side we couldn't beat, dude. Chelsea was so horrible. They were so fucking horrible. And on a personal note, just to end the episode, fuck Liam Delap. I hope he fucking dies. I hope his
Valid.
kids get like fucking tuberculosis or some shit. Fuck that guy,
Liam
dude.
Delap
मार
Liam
चुका है
Delap
वो
is a
आदमी.
kid. Liam Delap is a kid. He's like 21.
I don't give a fuck, dude. वो फोर्डन जैसा होगा freaky. I don't give a shit. I just hope he suffers in life. Fuck that guy. Kuzunov, क्या baby है भाई? He's literally a baby. Why would you do that to him? Fuck Dilla.
I think a lot of
Rory is my
Chelsea
favorite
fans will
Dilla
agree with
anyway.
you. I think Chelsea fans will agree with you on that sentiment. They do not like
Fuck
him.
him more because I put him in my fucking this thing, yeah, fantasy team. He was so
You
bad.
think?
3 weeks in, I was like, fuck this. I'm not playing only.
Wait. Speaking of fantasy team, I had Eketike in my team. He didn't play, injured tha. The guy who's second in my league, I'm first, he's second. He had Eketike captained, and Malik Theo was vice captain. Eketike didn't play, so he got Theo ke 34 points because the vice captain
Fucking
automatic thing.
hell.
And now he's 40 points ahead of me.
Malik Theo, who's that?
Newcastle centre back. He scored a goal
Newcastle
and
का
kept a
भाई.
clean sheet. So
Okay.
somehow this bastard lucked into a 40-point lead over me.
Wow.
By the way, live news: Ole looks like the leading candidate for United as of this
For the
moment.
next
Damn.
for the next 6 months only.
Yeah, for the next 6 months at the
Only
very
to
least.
win, boys. Let's go once again.
Yeah, listen, his interim spell was great. We defeated PSG in his interim spell. I'll take it.
He finished second and third, man.
In his permanent spell, he finished second and third. But in his interim spell, we got that huge PSG comeback.
अच्छा the initial spell. अच्छा हाँ.
Yeah.
True.
See, I'll gladly take him as interim. Fuck, I'd take him as a permanent manager also. But Ineos seems hellbent on destroying everything this club stands for, so I don't think they'll do that.
On
So,
that grim note, it's time to say bye to Amorim, to Maresca, to Celtics coach, to all the managers this season who are sacked and are going to be sacked. Tata, bye bye, fuck you, never come back. Uh, that's all from us. Thank you.